Basically, most of our equipment is specially made from a company called Elite Fitness Systems out in Ohio. They first started with a lot of powerlifters, but now what we'll call mainstream athletes, wrestlers, MMA guys, football players. The first thing we got every gym needs is good racks. All of our racks have the Olympic platforms on them for heavy deadlifting, heavy weights. Also, we have the band and chain straps over there, the hooks on there. We do a lot of things, they call it accommodating resistance with bands and chains. You saw in the prime time, deadlifting with chains. Basically, what the chains do is they go with the athlete's natural strength curve. You're always stronger at a certain point of a lift because of your athlete's natural strength curve. If I'm going to deadlift when I'm in that bottom position, I'm at a disadvantage leverage-wise. If I get past that sticking point from here to here, I have a lot more strength in me, but athletes never train that last bit of power because you're limited to what you can do from your weakest link. Same thing on a bench press. If I can get the weight off my chest, I can lock out a hell of a lot more weight. So what we do is we accommodate resistance during the course of the movement. Strapping chains on the bar when you're doing a deadlift, a squat, or a bench. Chains are going to be all on the ground when I'm at my weakest point. If I have 300 pounds on the bar and 100 pounds of chain, I have 300 here. As I push up, it's going to go 320, 340, 360, 400. Great for a fighter for your punching power. Dan worked a lot on, you'll see him doing a lot of jumping exercises. A lot of people say, we don't realize you jump so much in MMA. It's all explosion in the hips. Everybody, you got to realize, and most fight guys do, that punching, kicking power, it all starts from your hips, your lower body, transfers through your abs, and just releases through the upper body. So all of our platforms have those built in there. As we come over here with the platforms, you notice a lot of our barbells are specially made too. They have a thicker grip on them. So various different barbells, all thicker grips. Most sports all have to train grip, hand, forearm strength. Whether you take an example of like a baseball player as opposed to a UFC fighter, two drastically different sports, but again, an overlooked component, hand and forearm strength. Whether an MMA guy needs to use that power to control, punch. Baseball, completely different, but forearm strength and hand strength help with bat speed, throwing. So we do a lot of stuff for grip, even a regular exercise like a bench press, pull up, a lat pull down. We're going to use fat bars to train of athletes. So we do a lot with that. We also do a lot to kind of bridge the gap from the weight room strength out into the athletic field or into the cage. We do a lot of strongman training. Things like tire flips, sledgehammer smashes over the shoulder, sideways. We have these prowlers back here. If you come over here, we have these specially made torpedoes for farmers' walks. Basically, what that does, again, I call it bridging the gap from weight room to the athletic field. In any sport, if you're fighting somebody, it's in 3 dimensions. A bench press, we call it 2 dimensions. A squat's 2 dimensions. When you're flipping a tire, that's a 600-pound tire. You don't know where that thing's going to go. So you might have to come here. You got to work your body. You got to explode through it. So it's basically working full body. That's the true functional strength.
That's right there, working style.
Yes, that's building true functional strength for any athlete. It's not balancing on stability balls and all that stuff. We don't do a lot there. We basically, any sport, the ground doesn't move. The reason why I get on the functional thing is most guys don't tell functional trainers. They do a lot of balancing on stability balls, the Bozu balls. Any sport, whether you're in a UFC cage, playing baseball or football, the ground doesn't move. It's the athlete who has to move and control people around the ground that's stationary. So we're planted on the ground and we're moving objects that aren't stationary. So we love the strongman training for all athletes from baseball to MMA, high school kids through the pros. A lot of strongman training we do. We do it right out there in the parking lot. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done.
Let's
here is a custom-made log. It goes along with the strongman training. Basically, what we do here is a lot of people hang things we don't do a lot of because so many athletes damage their wrists. And again, we're talking about MMA fighting. The sport in of itself is enough, it's dangerous enough on your wrist. So the neutral grip gets rid of that, the catch phase of a clean. So we could work explosive through the hips. We could do push presses. Neutral grip is actually safer for the wrists, shoulders, and elbows. But again, you're working with a little more of an awkward object like this log, and we throw that into our base strength training, but also incorporate it into the strongman training workouts. Yes. Well, we got the keg over there. It's half filled with water and dirt that doing clean and presses with that as well. Even our basic lat pull down cable station, every gym needs one of these. Again, the attachments, even for many will consider basic back exercise, we're going to do it with a fat handle to transform the form. Lat pull down bars, all fat handles, your basic, basic pull stuff. Gymnastic rings. That same concept of the three-dimensional training for athletes. Instead of just doing regular push-ups, we're going on gymnastic rings. So this is moving in three dimensions. You have to be stronger. You come in, all different movements. You can do a push-up and then stabilize, do a row. Well, many different things works. That's true core strength, upper body strength and stability. We can shorten these things. Do chin-ups, women, rows, so we do a lot with the gymnastic rings as well. So these